it is winding down, isn't it? The Marlins' tenure here as the Florida Marlins and in Sun Life Stadium. Last game against the Braves here. Only 3 more after this. The Fish trying to win this series. You know, Billy gets all the chicks. How does that happen? Even Javi has to tip his cap to Billy the Marlin. Mike Stanton, the Fish, won Game 1. Jason Hayward and the Braves won Game 2. Hello, this is Game 3. And look who has a new haircut. How do you follow that? Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Marlins have a chance, just like last night, to put a dent in the Braves' wild card hopes. Nothing really budged for the Braves last night, with the Cardinals winning a 2.5-game wild card lead.
Yeah, the Cardinals saw a big night from Albert Pujols. What's new? He had 4 hits, and they kind of stayed status quo. But they're keeping their eye on the scoreboard, and the Marlins have an opportunity to put a little dent in that.
And I think the Cardinals this morning, before they looked at the scoreboard, they looked at the pitching matchup of this game to see who was throwing. And when they saw Javi Vasquez's name, they probably smiled, because if you follow baseball, you know that Vasquez has been dominant lately, especially his last time out against the Nationals.
You know, it's absolutely amazing. You and I were talking how many times a pitcher can face an Eastern opponent 4 or 5 times a year. This is going to be the first appearance for Javi against the Braves this year after his complete game shutout in Washington, D.C. Some tremendous numbers for the 35-year-old veteran who is leaning toward retirement when this season is ended. Look at the numbers. Last 10 starts, an ERA of 170. Opponents hitting 194. 65 strikeouts, 12 walks. And look at the endurance, a tribute to the way Javier Vasquez has maintained himself in excellent shape over a long and successful Major League career.
All right, a couple of player notes for the Braves before we move on. And that is Alex Gonzalez with a calf injury is not in the lineup. We saw him leave the game last night. Chipper Jones is not with the ball club right now. He had to return home for a family issue in Atlanta. He might return tonight, or he might join the team in Washington. Now let's look at Javi's opponent tonight, our Coventry Healthcare of Florida starters. We told you about Javi Vasquez. Derek Lowe had a great September last year, not so much this year.
Well, you talk about a couple of grizzled veterans. You have the 38-year-old sinker baller, Derek Lowe, but lately not so good. 0-3 in September with an ERA over 10. We've told you about Javi Vasquez. He has been on a roll in September. There's a couple of guys been just the opposite this month.
So we got veterans on the mound, the Marlins and the Braves. Frank and Niner. We'll talk about the new ballpark when we get back. Not for the last time this year, thank goodness. Jeff Conine, Frank Fort. Guys?
All right, thanks, Rich. Just 4 games left in this ballpark before the Marlins get ready to move to the new ballpark in downtown Miami. Rich jokes that I have an apartment down there. So you've been down there. What are your thoughts about it?
I was just down there last week and got a tour of the clubhouses, the suite levels. I was up in the stands. I mean, spectacular ballpark, and I'm telling you, there's not a bad seat in the house, really.
We've talked a lot to David Sampson about the ballpark, a lot to Claude DeLorme, the VP of Ballpark Development, but we also wanted to talk to some of the men that have helped put together this structure from the ground up.
our home.
Our team. Our town. This is the new Miami Marlins ballpark.
The coolest.
The coolest.
The coolest ballpark ever.
Are you in?
It's true the Marlins will be the stars of the show when the ballpark opens. But now the key players are all workers who have labored to erect this facility, over half residing in Miami-Dade County.
36,000 seats. That seems like a lot. Has it gone faster than you'd hoped, or right about on?
It's gone faster than I hoped. Yeah, we're pretty much ahead of schedule. Beautiful ballpark, nicest one I've been to.
We've done a bunch of ballparks. I personally did a high-rise downtown, but the complexity of a retractable roof and then these operable windows and just these different angles is something that I had never seen before. So it's complex and very fast too.
Any idea how many tons of concrete you guys have poured here?
Almost 100,000 cubic yards of concrete, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's very exciting to be part of something like this, because this is not only the work, for our company and, the guys that we have, also just to be part of something in your hometown, to be able to, come down and especially with your kids and, say that, I helped build this place, so it's pretty special.
And a new word in my vocabulary being down there so often, curvilinear.
I'm sorry?
The shape of curvilinear. It's the shape of the ballpark. There's not a lot of straight lines inside or out.
I like it because it's a modern spaceship-like type ballpark where you've seen all the retro ballparks of this era. This will hopefully usher in a new era.
And the best part for Jeff and I next year will be the air conditioning.
That is the best part.
75 degrees sounds awful nice. Tonight it's a little warmer than that. Braves and Marlins. Game 3 of this series. Final game ever for the Braves at Sun Life Stadium. The all-time series here, 75-74 Atlanta. Rich and Tommy with first pitch coming up next on Fox Sports Florida.
Is brought to you by Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T. By Checkers, feast on. And by All Your Cooling. Today's comfort, yesterday's prices. What a great shot, a live shot from the Goodyear blimp. And we've got the Goodyear blimp all night long. Michael Bourne as Javi Vasquez all night long. The first pitch from Javi is a live fastball that's fouled back. Vasquez's numbers don't really begin to tell the story of his season. You see the last start against the Nationals, a shutout, his first shutout since 2005, and that's the last time, believe it or not, he faced the Atlanta Braves. It was as a Diamondback. Greg Dobbs and Brett Hayes follow each other to the dugout. Nice play by Dobbs. And Javi's got out number 1. Here comes Martin Prado, and here comes the Braves lineup, brought to you by Warren Henry. Prado follows Bourne. Brian McCann's in the 3 spot. No Chipper tonight, and no Alex Gonzalez tonight. Dan Ugly hits cleanup. Freddie Freeman at first. Jason Hayward in right. Jack Wilson's a very good shortstop, and he hits 7th. Jose Constanza, he's still over 300. Derek Lowe hits 9th. Of course, Javi enjoyed one of his best years in the big leagues as an Atlanta Brave a couple seasons ago, and he gets a call on the inside part against Martin Prado.
Yeah, it's amazing that he's not faced the Braves since 2005 when he was with Arizona, but had that terrific year as a Brave, 15-10, 287 ERA in 09.
Prado, then McCann. 4 hits for Prado in this series. We talked about Alex Gonzalez and his year against the Marlins. Prado has enjoyed success against the Fish this season as well.
Good velocity early on the fastballs thrown by Javier Vasquez. Always a good sign.
He's 0-2 on the Braves. Well, I was going to say left fielder, but Prado tonight at third base. 2 pitches outside. Prado's an even 400 against the Fish this year. 65 at bats, 26 hits. He's driven in 8, and his on-base percentage is only .426. Breaking ball, ground ball. Bonifacio charges, gloves, on the run, gets it. 2 outs, and here comes McCann.
Nicely done. Set him up with some good fastballs. Got the breaking ball. Slow roller to short. Long over. Brian Peterson, Mike Stanton in that Marlin outfield. Dobbs, Bonifacio, Infante, and Gabby around the infield. Brett Hayes is handling Javier Vasquez tonight. And the defense brought to you by Warren Henry.
Here's Brian McCann. And McCann takes a strike. As we told you earlier, Chipper Jones has a minor family issue to take care of. He is headed back to Atlanta. He may rejoin the team later tonight, or he may just join the team when they head up to Washington. And Alex Gonzalez out of the lineup with a sore calf.
2 things just occurred to me with Alex over there resting that calf about the battery tonight for the Marlins. You have Javier Vasquez coming off a complete game shutout. John Buck was behind the plate. Jack McKeon realizes that Javier Vasquez, number 1, is a veteran. Not going to matter who's catching him. And number 2, it shows the confidence he has in Brett Hayes handling a game.
Out in front of Brian McCann. There's a look at Hayes. Buck has caught the first 2 games. It's Brett Hayes tonight. It's an off day for the Fish. Actually, strike that. Never an off day when you have to fly halfway across the country. That's a work day. That's tomorrow for the Marlins as they head to Milwaukee. Here's the 1-2. 3-game series awaits with the Brewers this weekend, and then back home for the final home series against the Washington Nationals. And if Javi is going out, he sure is going out in style. 92 on that fastball. It's up, and it's 3-2. Last 16 starts, an ERA of under 2, and a chance to go over 500 this season. He's 11-11. McCann fouls it back out of play.
You know, we tell the story of what Javi's done since the All-Star break, last 16 starts and all that. But I don't think you can tell the whole story unless you mention that his first 14 starts, his ERA was 6.85, and he was 3-7.
The 3-2 pitch. Popped him up. Gabby in foul territory makes the catch, and Javi, just like up in Washington, goes 1-2-3 in the first. at Sun Life Stadium from the Goodyear Blimp as the Marlins and the Braves go at it. Fish lineup. Warren Henry brings it to you. Emilio Bonifacio at short. Omar Infante at second. Greg Dobbs is at third base. Mike Stanton in right. Logan Morrison in left field. Gabby Sanchez plays first tonight. Ryan Peterson had the night off with that sore foot. He's back in center tonight. Brett Hayes hits eighth, and Javi Vasquez hits ninth. And here is Derek Lowe against Emilio Bonifacio. A low strike, no pun intended, but that's good news for Derek Lowe, who starts and ends with that sinker.
Yeah, that's where he needs to live. He's not been living there his last 3 starts with an ERA over 10.
And if he gets that called tonight, he can be tough. You know, the funny thing about Lowe, he's had an awful season. But in this ballpark against the Marlins this year, he's in 2 starts, 1-0 with a 1.42 ERA. So something about this ballpark this year has clicked in for him. 0-2 pitch.
Well, he's one of those veterans that has remained healthy 10 straight years, 30 or more starts. 9 straight years, 12 or more wins.
It's really a fascinating matchup between Lowe and Vasquez. You talked about 2 grizzled veterans.
Yeah.
Their career paths are very similar. Lowe came in the 91 draft. Seattle took him in the 8th round. A hot smash. Ugla picks it up, flips on over to first in time. Made his debut in 97, did Derek Lowe. All right, here comes the Braves defense.
And it's brought to you by Warren Henry. There's the speedster. How about the speed in left and center? Constanza and Bourne. Hayward runs well, too. Prado's at third. Jack Wilson handles short. Ugla and Freeman. And Brian McCann behind the plate. You know, you really don't lose a whole lot with Jack Wilson at short and Alex Gonzalez on the bench.
You probably get more range, actually, with Jack Wilson side to side.
So a good veteran player to have when your regular shortstop has a minor injury.
Omar Infante now. And Lowe right at the knees for a strike. Infante 4 hits in the series, including, of course, the walk-off home run in Game 1. Dobbs in the 3 spot. Stanton has moved to the cleanup spot. And the newly shorn Logan Morrison hits 5th. A little pop-up. And Freeman puts away Infante. A scouting report that has stayed pretty steady throughout his long
Yeah,
big
we
league
kind of
career.
went in other directions on this one. 40 and 20. He's had a 40 save season and a 20 win season. He has thrown too many elevated sinkers this year, and the month of September has not been a good one for the 38-year-old veteran Derek Lowe.
Which is odd because last September he literally carried the Braves to the postseason. He was 5-0 with a 1.17 ERA in September. And remember, the Braves won the wild card by 1 game over San Diego.
And he's still the active leader in ground balls to fly ball ratio.
They should name that, when he retires, name that award. Whoever leads the league in that ratio.
The Derek Lowe Award.
The Derek Lowe Award.
Because I think he took over from Brandon Webb.
Here's the 0-1. Dobbs hits it to left. Jose Constanza's out there tonight, and he makes the catch. And the 2 grizzled veterans both look sharp early. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. The spirit of innovation high above South Florida and Miami. Mandy Martin is the pilot. Vigo Brun is the camera operator. It's based out of Pompano Beach, of course. Dan Ugla takes a fastball for a strike. We're underway in the top of the second inning. We thank the folks at Goodyear for their continued support. It's a good night to be up there. They supported our fantasy auction. Ugla sends a deep drive to left center field, and Peterson is there to make the catch. All your cooling brings you the weather. Weather's been great for this series. 86 degrees. Tomorrow, Tommy, pack a sweater vest or two. 55 in Milwaukee.
I've got them laid out already.
You know, Goodyear, a proud sponsor of the Ford Fantasy Auction this year. And in years past, they have been great with not only their blimp coverage, but donating blimp rides. And tonight is the big night. Tonight, we raffle off the Ford Fiesta. There are 300 lucky tickets out there. And we'll see who gets the car. We'll have that drawing for you tonight in the top of the seventh inning. Freddie Freeman fouls it back, counts 0-2. Did you bring your tickets, though?
I can't find it.
Yeah. You know what, though? They have your name, and if your ticket is drawn, you'll still win it. But I did. You know, I want to say I brought.
You do. You're more organized.
No, I'm not. It's my wife's. She handed it to me on the way out the door, and she said,
and that's her car too.
Yeah, she said when you come when you come home, make sure you park my car in that spot.
That's right.
There
the number. That is the number for Renee Waltz.
Good changeup by Vasquez, and he strikes out Freeman. So 2 outs here in a scoreless ball game. Closing day, you don't want to miss this. All of the great Marlins of years past will be here for the 97 World Championship team, members of the 03 World Championship team. Special postgame ceremony honoring the Marlins all-time team. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call, marlins.com. You can still get tickets. You can still be a part of it. Benito Santiago, Jeff Conine, Charlie Huff, Gary Sheffield, Mike Lowell, Jason Hayward. Pudge will be there. He and Livan Hernandez as members of the Nationals conveniently will be playing the final series.
Yeah, it works out nice for Pudge and Livan. Representing 2 different world championships.
Yes. Vasquez dials up 93. You know, there's such a different fluidity to Vasquez, a confidence out on the mound. He had the highest ERA of any qualifying pitcher his first 2 months of the season, and the Marlins were really contemplating him, yanking him out of the rotation.
And do you remember, and I think a lot of us were surprised because you have a 35-year-old veteran talking about lack of confidence, and he didn't have that early in the year.
Which is amazing because we saw him in 09, and he was a guy that was a contender for the Cy Young Award as a Brave that year. Dobbs is over, and Javi Vasquez has retired all 6 that he's faced. Thanks to our good friends at H.H. Gregg. Out of downtown Miami, up the road in Sun Life Stadium. The Marlins and the Braves are scoreless. Derek Lowe dueling Javi Vasquez. Lowe all the way back to the 91 draft. He got to the big leagues in 97. Javi made his big league debut in 98. Lowe's big league debut was with Seattle. Stanton climbing in. Mike had the 2 big home runs in game 1. A much quieter night last night. He was 0 for 3. It was Randall Delgado, Christian Martinez, and Anthony Varvaro that quieted the fish. A smash by the diving Wilson into center field.
So many times, Rich, we've seen those sharply hit ground balls with that top spin. I think if they come off a normal man's bat, it's probably fielded. But because this is such a fast infield, because Mike Stanton hits those balls so sharply, this one gets by a guy with good range, Jack Wilson.
So Stanton is aboard, and here's Logan Morrison. Morrison with his 21 homers, the 21st coming in game 1 of the series. A new haircut and an 0-1 count. Last night, Lomo got many votes for best hair on the ball club.
I think he may have gone with this haircut, though, because he found out he was second to Brian Peterson.
And he said, to heck with it. He was 0 for 4 last night. Lined out twice. It's a good battle of wills here. Let's look at Peterson, who did not go to visit Hugo the Barber today and is back in the lineup. Good battle of wills here. And Lowe that wants you to go after something that's sinking out of the zone, and Morrison, who has a very good concept of the strike zone.
Yeah, he'll change speeds. You know, that sinker there, he turns over. That's almost like a change-up sinker. Occasional breaking ball. But good patience by Lomo.
Toyota Fox Tracks. Gabby Sanchez on deck. Stands at first. Stan, the first base runner of the game. High chopper. Freeman backing up. And he'll step on the bag. Stanton resides at second. Morrison is out. Here comes Gabby. Now, you want to talk about hair. One guy that Hugo the Barber would love to work on is Dan Patrick. And the Dan Patrick Show is part of our daily regimen, 9 a.m. weekdays on FSN.
I could just hear Dan Patrick going in and saying, Hugo, I'd like the Dan Uggla Brohawk.
Pitch misses outside. Now Hinsky got the mohawk. Jack Wilson got a mohawk, but Lomo went with a little longer look. That's a good call. The crack staff is saying more the taxi driver look. The Robert De Niro, or are you?
Rich, you talking to me?
Talking to me, yeah. Gabby takes a strike, and it's 2-1. Sanchez 1 for 8 in this series. A chance to add to his RBI total of 75. Mike Stanton leads the club at 86. Sanchez second. And then Logan Morrison with his 73rd. Two and 2.
Boy, to show you the type of year it's been, especially lately for Derek Lowe. In his last 6 losses, Braves have been outscored 45-14. So he's been responsible for a lot of that, giving up a lot of runs.
As we pointed out, a guy that helped carry the Braves to the wild card last year. They've tried to lean on him this year in the absence of Jurgens and Hansen.
I think, Rich, there's always, in Derek Lowe, because of the history, there's always that mystique of his success that he's had in postseason.
Well, absolutely. I mean, any member of that 2004 Boston Red Sox team, especially Lowe, who was on the mound for the finish of all 3 postseason series, any member of that 2004 team is an immortal. That ball is driven left center field deep. It's going to bang off the wall. Stanton will score. Gabby to second. And Gabby Sanchez with an RBI double, and the Fish are off to a 1-0 start. For Gabby, double number 33.
Man, we talked about it when it's all said and done. Gabby's numbers are going to be very similar to last year. He got himself a hanging slider from Derek Lowe. It's our checkers double of the game. Gabby last year had 37 doubles, 19 home runs, 85 RBIs. And for Gabby right there, that's RBI number 76. What a great shot.
From the Goodyear blimp. So the Marlins on the board first. And here is Brian Peterson. There's a lot of things that Brian Peterson has done well this year. Pinch hitting, outfield play. Even when he has started, he has been able to get on base. One of the things he hasn't done a whole lot of, Tommy, in 68 games, just 7 RBIs.
Yeah, 68 games, 184 at bats. And you make the comparison. Brett Hayes, who's in the lineup tonight, has 122 at bats, has 15 RBIs. Donnie Murphy, 80 some at bats, has 8 RBIs. So it's an area you would like to see improvement from Brian Peterson. You made a good analogy when we were talking about it with Logan Morrison last year.
Yeah, Lomo last year, remember, was Mr. on-base percentage, but had a double of a time driving in runs and hitting home runs. He hit just a couple of homers and drove in just 16 runs. And Morrison had almost 250 at bats. So sometimes that's an acquired taste, something you learn as you go in the big league.
Yeah, I think we've seen the transition in Brian Peterson, which he learned and started in AAA this year. Better eye, better patience at the plate. Now he's going to have to translate that with runners in scoring position. Better eye, better patience.
Well, a lot of ground balls if you're a Braves infielder tonight with Derek Lowe out there. Gabby Sanchez is at third. Here comes Hayes, and it'll be interesting to see if Lowe goes right after him. Vasquez does swing the bat pretty well on deck.
And Lowe's a type of pitcher, he's not going to overpower a guy like Javier Vasquez.
Of course, Lowe went from the Seattle organization to Boston. And as you pointed out, in Boston was a starter and a reliever, and a good one, a good closer. On to Los Angeles, put in his time with the Dodgers.
You know how we've talked about and how it's a rarity. Players being an all-star at 2 positions. We had that conversation the other night. Derek Lowe was an all-star as a starter, and he was an all-star as a closer.
As suspected, after missing on the first 2 pitches to Hayes, they're going to go ahead and put him on. And so Vasquez comes up. Now, the Marlins have used Vasquez as a pinch hitter. Roger McDowell, Terry Pendleton sitting next to Freddie Gonzalez. So Vasquez is probably the best hitting pitcher the Marlins have, if that's any solace for you.
Yeah, and it's a little different story if he had a guy out there throwing 95 miles an hour. So I think, not that it's going to be comfortable, but I think Javi's going to make contact here.
Well, Lowe's got to throw strikes here. It's 1-0. The Diamondbacks won today 8-5 over the Pirates. Their magic number to clinch the West is down to 2.
They'll have a nice celebration out in the desert. Are they home?
They were home for that win. The Giants tonight played the Dodgers in Game 2 of that series. Last night it was Clayton Kershaw again beating the Giants. Javi, a little tapper. Lowe will handle it, flip it to first, and the inning is over. Marlins do cash in a run on a Gabby Sanchez RBI double. 1-0 Fish. NHL season is right around the corner. Fox Sports Florida will be there with the Florida Panthers as they get ready to go in 2011 and 2012. And 73 games in high definition. Steve Goldstein and Billy Lindsay are back. And Kevin Dineen is the new head coach and a new roster. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And the guy that's put that roster together joins us now. Dale Talon, the executive vice president of the Florida Panthers. Welcome to the booth.
I'm glad to be here. I love baseball. And this is a big game for Atlanta, obviously. They got the Cardinals chasing them. So let's give the Marlins, give them a little hammer and put them down another notch.
We got a guy who's familiar with the broadcast booth, too.
And a guy that is a big Blue Jay fan and knows that.
Yeah, Tommy. When I was a kid, my grandfather took me to see Tommy play with the Blue Jays. Dodger fan. I don't know how you guys do this. One time with the Sox, we did an inning and the Twins scored 9 runs. I was exhausted. I had to leave. You got to do that for 3 more hours.
There's some games we feel like we have to leave. It doesn't happen that way.
Let's start with, as Javi Vasquez has been brilliant tonight. He's retired all 7 that he's faced. Let's start with your head coach. I guess when you build a organization, you start from the top, and Kevin Dineen is the guy that you've chosen.
Kevin, world-class player, 350 goals, over 2,000 minutes in penalties, got his nose dirty every night, played hard, 6 years as a head coach of the American Hockey League, paid his dues, and his compassion and passion and energy and knowledge, all those things are things that our young guys, the last 3 rookies of the year in the American Hockey League, which is our top developmental league, were coached by Kevin. So he not only will be good with the veterans, but I think he'll really help our young guys, and we're going to have a lot of young guys coming up in the future.
Is there a particular style that you can see him implement?
Yeah, we really like to play a high tempo, puck possession, in your face, not sit back, a real offensive type game, at a puck possession game. If you have the puck more than the other team, then you've got a better chance of winning. So it'll be entertaining, and it'll be fun.
Jose Constanza bounces out to Emilio Bonifacio. That brings up Derek Lowe. Tell us about some of the new faces and new players that fans will see here on Fox Sports Florida.
Well, we got a new goalie. Jose Theodore was an MVP with Montreal and had a couple of strong years last year with Minnesota and the year before with Washington. So he's kind of rejuvenated his career. And we got Ed Jovanovski back, who started his career with the Panthers when they had their good years early. And we've got Kopechki and we've got a bunch of guys from Chicago that I knew very well, Christopher Stieg, Jack Skilly, and Brian Campbell. We got in a trade before the draft. And that really set us up for free agency. When we got him, we got some credibility in the free agent market, and then people wanted to come because they felt we were committed to winning when we brought Brian on board. So, we've added a lot of other pieces, Thomas Fleischman and Scotty Upshaw. So we've got 12 new players from different organizations, but the good thing is they're all in the 28, 29-year-old range. They're not 35, 36 coming down here to retire.
How did the transition for you go from booth to where you are now?
Tom, was kind of fate. I was broadcasting all the Blackhawk games, and, they had went through a lot of different managers, a lot of different coaches, and just by accident, after watching 17, 18 years of it, they asked me my opinion, and I had a lot of opinions that I was keeping to myself because, you were selling the home team, and we weren't very good. So they said, would you like to get involved in the hockey end? And Bob Murray, who I'd played with in Chicago, was the general manager at the time and asked me to come on board. And I started scouting, and I loved every minute of it, and I worked my way up.
And you have to be pretty proud of where that organization ended up last year.
Yeah, it was great. Great bunch of young kids that we drafted and signed. Had a great staff there. We had a lot of fun rejuvenating that original 6 franchise.
All right, well, stick around. We got another half inning. Maybe we'll get that 9-run inning out of you here in the bottom of the 3rd. Jones was not with the ball club today. He had to return home to Atlanta, and the good news is everything is okay. Everybody's all right in Atlanta, and Chipper is back on the bench for the Braves. Dale Talon, the vice president of the Florida Panthers, joins us now. Baseball fan, building a franchise now, and you guys open up. Where do you guys open up? Open up Long Island,
we
right?
play the Islanders on Saturday. I think it's the 8th. And then we play in Pittsburgh, and then we come back home and open on the 15th against Tampa. So we're excited about our new players and our new team and our new attitude.
I think a real challenge for you this year will be dealing with Goldie and Lindsay. How do you do that?
Well, I just put the mute button on. That's all. No, they're great. We look forward to having a good year and making it easier for them to describe the games. It's tough, when you're not doing well and not winning. But one thing for sure, it'll be a lot more fun this year, a lot more entertaining.
Now, growing up as a hockey fan and a baseball fan, great hockey announcers, great baseball announcer. I know Tom Cheek, Jerry Howarth, longtime broadcasters for Toronto. Dave Van Horn is next door. They just went into the Hall of Fame.
Did the Expos for years.
Who were the great hockey announcers that you grew up listening to?
Well, there was René Lecavalier, was a French-Canadian announcer, and then there was Foster Hewitt and Danny Gallivan with the Montreal Canadiens. Those were the three icons in those days when I was a kid growing up in northern Ontario, northwestern Quebec. We had 10 months of winter and 2 months of bad skating, so we didn't play a lot of baseball. It's tough running around those bases in snowshoes.
So I have been told, though, now that you've gotten out of that winter, that the golf game's gotten a little bit better.
It's something you've got to do. You just got a reputation to keep up. But it's nice. I joined Coral Ridge and I'm able to hit balls there, the odd evening after work. So it's good. I'm really happy down here in Florida. I'm a Floridian now, and my whole family loves it here, and I'm looking forward to many prosperous years here.
Prado bounces out to short. This is the Cleveland Clinic third inning. Derek Lowe now with 2 down is rolling right now. Lowe and Javi Vasquez both working at a quick pace. The Marlins got the only run of the ball game on the double by Gabby Sanchez.
But you guys are excited to go in the new ballpark. That looks terrific.
Can't wait.
Looks fantastic.
Can't
really.
wait.
I don't have to get season tickets. I love baseball. Go to a lot of Sox and Cubs games.
You'll like it in air conditioning down here, which is where we're headed.
I like the heat. I could use some weight.
Fastball and a strike to Greg Dobbs.
We'll get you up to the booth next year in the new booth.
It looks fantastic. All that I've seen. A great baseball park.
Dobbs hitting here with 2 outs in the third. Stanton on deck. The 0-1. Lots of ground balls tonight. Dale Talon, we will see you on the 8th from Long Island against the Islanders.
We're
here
excited.
on Fox Sports.
Come on down and see us. We'd love to have you come to the game.
Have a good year.
You too.
Best of luck.
Pleasure.
Thanks
for having us.
Available in the new Marlins ballpark. That includes a game against the Red Sox, a game against the Yankees, an option for opening night, and parking in one of the garages as well. Season parking as Michael Bourne takes a fastball and misses up. Marlins.com, the place to go for all your season ticket needs in 2012. And the 2012 schedule is online. Go to Marlins.com and click on schedule. It'll pop up and it'll show you that April 4th is the opener in the new Marlins ballpark. Javi Vasquez has that look in his eye. He's retired all 9 that he's faced. Michael Bourne takes a strike.
Now, for the first time around, we saw a lot of fastballs, 92, 94 range. And a lot of times Javi will do that and change things up the second time around. A little change up there.
7 ground ball outs for Derek Lowe, a couple for Javi. So both guys getting outs in different fashion here. Bourne, Prado, McCann. That pitch misses outside.
You were talking an inning or so ago about Clayton Kershaw beating the Giants, his 20th win. 5-0 against the Giants this year, Kershaw. 4-0 against Tim Lincecum. That's impressive.
That's amazing.
To a guy who could have won the Cy Young by winning that 20th game. The last Dodger 20-game winner was 21 years ago, Ramon Martinez.
You have to think that the 4 wins over Lincecum will enhance his resume. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know what Ian Kennedy is against Lincecum or if he's even faced him this year. Swing and a miss, and down goes Michael Bourne. AT&T Trivia, Braves at Sun Life Stadium. 21 players have started at third base. How many have Marlin ties?
Well, we talked a little bit about TP, Terry Pendleton, last night.
Who are the other? There's one. How many are there total? The question is how many. So we're going to just throw out a number.
How about 6?
Liner over the head of Gabby Sanchez. I'll go with Omar Infante for 100, please.
I think to get the bell on that, I haven't heard it, but
thank you. Some technical difficulties with the bell. That's the first base hit. So Infante,
I said 6. I'm going to go with 5. How about 5?
Well, we've got Pendleton.
Oh, so we have 3 more.
All right, we've got Pendleton and we've got Infante. McCann calls time and steps out.
Javi now working from the stretch. First time with Prado's base hit. Prado now with a 9-game hitting streak.
Yeah, he's still over 400 against the Marlins this year. Vasquez misses away. McCann 1 for 8. We told you that the Diamondbacks have won today, and so their magic number is at 2. The Braves' magic number is at 6 with 7 games left, and that includes this game tonight in that total.
Talked to Terry Pendleton a little bit before the game, and he was talking about one of the moments he remembers in this ballpark as a Marlin, and it was Al Leiter's no-hitter. And he didn't realize he'd forgotten that he hit a home run in that no-hitter. And he said the other 2 no-hitters that he played in, he also homered.
Wow.
He played behind Kemp Merker, lefty with the Braves, hit a home run in Merker's no-hitter. Then the Braves had a 4 or 5 pitcher no-hitter that was started by Merker, and he homered in that game too.
Chipper Jones has been at third base for so long that it's going to be.
It's hard. Yeah, that's all you think of when you think of Braves third baseman.
And that hit him. So Vasquez, who was out in front of McCann 1 and 2, hits him. And now here comes Ugla.
Looked like he got him with a slider and just kept boring in on that knee, and McCann couldn't get out of the way.
Ugla may have hit the best ball of the night against Vasquez so far. A fly ball to the warning track in deep left center that Peterson ran down.
I got a name, Rich. I got a name. I'm just anticipating the bell after I throw this name out there. Wes Helms.
Well, that's a good call. So we have 3 of the 5. Vasquez misses away to Ugla. Dan Ugla has had such a great power surge in the second half. He's at 35 home runs, 23 of them since July 4th, and that leads all of baseball. And as Tommy pointed out, the Marlins have contributed to that total, 5 homers against his former team.
The other thing about Ugla applies to when we were talking about Javier Vasquez, the struggles he had early. Through June, Dan Ugla was hitting .178 and had 12 home runs.
You know, it's that axiom you hear a lot when a guy of Vasquez's age struggles. People say he's done. He obviously wasn't. When a guy like Ugla struggles, Dan's no spring chicken, but he's not 35. You figure it's just a slump and he's going to pull out of it, and he does. Well, Vasquez pulled out of it. And so when people say that Derek Lowe is done, is he really? Here's the 1-2. High pop-up. Hayes makes the catch.
I love the other old axiom about that. The back of the baseball card doesn't lie. So you look at the numbers, especially a guy who's 5 to 10 years, and it doesn't lie. Pretty much players are going to be in that area.
By the way, the Cardinals and the Mets are about 15 minutes away from starting in St. Louis. Here it's 1-0 Fish in the top of the 4th.
Just getting underway, the second game, Tampa Bay and the Yankees. They had a delay at the beginning of the second game. They played a split doubleheader.
And Tampa Bay had a 2-1 lead late in that ball game, and it got away. The Yankees clinching a postseason spot with a 4-2 win.
And another save by Mariano Rivera, number 603.
So the Rays now 2.5 back. Boston tonight is tangling with Baltimore, and that's 1-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. So I guess the Rays can still salvage at least a half game in that race if they were to split the doubleheader and Boston were to lose.
Yeah, they have a tough task. The Rays have the youngster Jeremy Hellickson on the mound in that second game, but the Yankees are going with big CC Sabathia.
And the Orioles have a pretty tall order too. The Josh Beckett start tonight for Boston. Freeman putting up a good struggle here. The Braves have a couple runners on. A Martin Prado single, the first hit of the night against Vasquez. And then Vasquez on a 1-2 pitch bounced one off the shin of Brian McCann. He got Ugla to pop up, and he's 1-2 on Freeman. And Javi wants to make sure that he and Brett Hayes are on the same page. Milwaukee lost 7-1. Marlins and Brewers open on Friday night up at Miller Park,
where the Marlins will see a couple of Milwaukee's finest.
Wait a minute.
Gallardo and Greinke.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Well, we may taste some of Milwaukee's finest, too. But Giovanni Gallardo in Game 1, Zach Greinke in Game 2. Big left-hander Chris Narveson in the third game.
Marlins Live starts at 7:30. The first brought will be thrown out at 8:05. 2-2. Off-speed pitch, foul back. Freeman is putting up a great battle. We talked last night about his progression as a hitter. He's made the adjustment now where he's hitting the ball up the middle and opposite side. And at the same time, he's also one of those guys that now is able to foul pitches off that are pitcher's pitches until he finally gets one that he likes. Ooh, that's close.
Well, Javier Vasquez tried to drop that backdoor curveball in and just missed off the plate, and it did. Ball Nauert, home plate umpire.
Toyota brings you Fox Tracks. Nauert was all over that one. Let's see what he comes with. 3-2. Prado from second, McCann from first. They'll be moving.
Was quite a battle. Freddie Freeman leading all National League rookies in batting average, hits, tied for home runs, leading in doubles.
Three-two again. Blasted to center. Peterson on the move is there, and he makes the catch. And Javi Vasquez finishes the fourth. Marlins 1-0. FBL is working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient. By the all-new Chevy Cruze. See your local Chevrolet dealer. And by El Dorado. Shop online. Visit ElDoradoFurniture.com. 1-0. Marlins on top, bottom of the fourth. Let's answer trivia, our AT&T trivia question tonight. Talking about Braves third baseman. There haven't been a whole lot of them because Chipper Jones has been there seemingly forever. But as we flip the phone, Braves at Sun Life Stadium, 21 have started at third. How many have Marlin ties? We got Infante, Tommy got Helms, and of course, Ozzie Guillen.
Ozzie played a little third base.
How about Morty?
Morty, we forgot about Morty. We talked about Terry Pendleton.
Here's Mike Stanton, and he fouls this one back to the screen. Alan Young, chairman of the board, CEO of South Florida Ford joins us now. Alan, how are you? I like your outfit. You got the Ford shirt and the Ford light going on tonight.
A little light going.
Absolutely, absolutely. Got to represent, right?
Yeah, well, and the reason he's here tonight, it's a special night for us because tonight's the night where we raffle off for the Ford Fantasy Auction presented by Tommy Bahama, the Ford Fiesta. Ford was nice enough not only to sponsor the auction for the second year in a row, but also this year donate a new car, as they would say on the game show. And we were able to sell raffle tickets. Many of the crew here bought them. Many of you fans out there have them. There were 300 sold. Only 300 of these sold. And here's the 2-1 to Mike Stanton. Fouls it off. Of these 300 tickets, a winner will be drawn tonight in the 7th inning. We will show it to you here on Fox Sports Florida. And that winner will get a Ford Fiesta. Tell us about the Ford Fiesta. And I understand the winner gets to pick the color.
They can have whatever color they'd like. You know, it was part of our package with the the fantasy auction, and it was a big success. The Ford Fiesta, was our #1 small subcompact, 40-mile-per-hour car, design coming over from Europe. The Fiesta's been popular in Europe for a few years. Right now, it's #1 in its class in safety and fuel economy. So you have to come check one out, and I'm going to go down in the field and give one away. I think in the 6th or 7th inning, like you said.
That's very nice. Now, we, every now and then when we jump in a rental car, I'll jump in a Ford Edge. That's a nice car to drive.
Absolutely.
And the fantasy auction, very successful this year. I think we were over $100,000 that we raised for the Marlins Community Foundation, and Ford a big part of that.
Isn't that great? And, the Marlins have been good partners with, David Sampson and his team. We've been partners now for, I believe this is our 3rd year. We've continued to grow, and you're going to see a big Ford presence at the new stadium.
Oh, I like to hear that. Yeah.
You're going to see a big Ford presence there at the new stadium, and we're going to continue to grow our relationship. The Marlins have been good partners, and hopefully Ford can be a good partner for them.
Logan Morrison up against Derek Lowe. Both veteran pitchers have been doing it. There's a look at the Focus.
Yep. It's our second car that has over 40 miles per gallon.
Morrison takes down Lowe.
Rich, that's what we need with all the driving we do on the turnpike. We need the miles per gallon. We need that. The efficiency.
That's right. Well, maybe we can work a deal out next year. I guess, what we could have done is just bought all the raffle tickets. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's outside.
That's one way to get it. Ford made a commitment to fuel economy and safety, and by the end of next year, we'll be #1 in 10 out of 12 classes of automobiles in fuel economy. Just to show you that we've never been #1 ever in the other 100 years of our history. So,
3-1 pitch into right field. That's a base hit for Logan Morrison. Now, you guys also were nice enough the last couple of years to be involved at the NASCAR event and get us hooked up for the fantasy event with the NASCAR event that happens was it every November, right?
Absolutely. It's the Ford 400, and it's a huge event that a couple 100,000 people come down, and we'll hook you up again this year. Just let me know. We sit right on the finish line, and our world CEO, Alan Mulally, or the president of North America Ford comes down. We have a nice day of it, and a lot of Marlin fans go down to the race, and a lot of race fans come to Marlin games. So.
Yeah, well, that was one of the prizes in the auction, too, is a chance to get down there with pit passes. And
they jumped on that, too.
Yeah, they did. That's always a popular one.
That was a great, that's a great item.
Well, it's quite the experience. They go into driver's meeting, and I happened to have been there myself last year, and it's a unique experience. And it was very popular at the auction. The access that Ford gives you is just, inside access. Can't beat that,
Well, and Tommy is such a NASCAR geek that that's right up his alley.
I spent a lot of time with our graphics coordinator, Ken Lee, who's just Ken Lee TiVos all the NASCAR races.
Well, you'll have to come down and be my guest this year then. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well.
Absolutely. It is the Ford 400.
Just have to take you up on that.
You're more than welcome.
You could start calling Tommy El Diablo and the Magic Man.
Do you like the truck races, Tom?
Not as much.
Me neither. Not as much. But they're still fun. They're still fun. Nothing like Sunday, though, is there?
Sunday's the best day.
Morrison at first base. Lowe has an out here in the 4th. Alan Young, the chairman of the board, South Florida Ford, is with us. We'll be giving away a new car here in the 7th inning. And the culmination of the Ford Fantasy Auction, presented as well by Tommy Bahama. That's why we have you for Ford, and Tommy and I are wearing our nice Tommy Bahama shirts tonight.
You know, I noticed that when I walked up. Those are nice-looking shirts.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll trade you a Ford shirt, and you can give me a Tommy Bahama shirt.
We can do that because you guys were both part of the auction.
Okay, all right, I like that deal.
That's called synergy. That's, you know.
I'm all about making a deal.
All right, well, there you go.
Okay, all right.
Morrison chased back. The Marlins and the Braves not only finishing this series, but also finishing the all-time series in this ballpark. The Braves have a one-game lead. That foul ball is going to end up in the seats. Now, Tommy, next week on Tuesday night, you and I are going to broadcast a game from the stands, and that's right where we're going to be sitting.
Who's got us covered that night?
We're going to need, you know, that glove that Billy uses to catch the first pitch, that giant glove.
I'm going to bring an old glove. Bring a glove, would you?
I will.
Bring one of your gloves.
I will bring one of my gloves.
All right.
You better bring a fan.
Here's a 2-2. Gabby hits a soft pop into right field. Hayward comes on and makes the catch. Now, you're a baseball fan.
I am. I'm a sports fan all the way through. I like baseball, football, hockey, golf. You know, once you're a sports fan, I guess you're a sports fan of all sports. I like them all.
Have you had a chance? I know that you just said you're going to have a nice presence in the new ballpark. Have you had a chance to get down there and get the tour?
I actually got a nice private tour about 2 weeks ago with my staff and my team from our marketing company from Ford. And our executives are flying in a month or so. We're going to get another walkthrough, and I was amazed. It was beautiful. It was I was visualizing that view out in it's downtown Miami. You guys are going to have a wonderful seat to look at that every night.
Yep, we can't wait.
I bet you can.
Alan Young, chairman of the board, South Florida Ford. Thank you for your involvement in the fantasy auction. And
thanks, Alan.
Have fun giving that car away in the 7th inning.
I will, and thanks for having me. I feel honored to follow Dale Talon up here, my idol from the Panthers. All right, thank you.
Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Good night at the ballpark. Tonight our Subway 5th inning, 1-0. Marlins on top. Javi Vasquez working on Jason Hayward. His first pitch sails outside. Hayward, Jack Wilson, Jose Constanza for the Braves. Braves have one hit, the Prado single. Vasquez has been in control. And as we told you from the outset, his last start against the Nationals, he was dominant, a shutout. He hadn't had a shutout in the big league since 2005. And for Javi, his career numbers now, it puts his career win total at 163. He's 163 and 160. Hayes comes back to the screen. I did a little research. because we talked about the first half of the season and how his ERA was close to 7. His first year in the big leagues with the Expos in '98, he was 5-15, and his ERA was 6.06.
Yeah, that's very similar to the first year Greg Maddux had in the big leagues with the Cubs.
Change up, and Vasquez gets a strikeout. It's ironic that you say that. Let's go to our Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Of course, Javi Vasquez, 4 1/3 now, just a hit. He's given the Marlins the edge. Vasquez looking for win number 12. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Because when Javi Vasquez was growing up in Puerto Rico on TBS, the team that he watched, the Braves, and the guy that he idolized, Greg Maddux.
Maddox's first full year with the Cubs, 1987, albeit he was just 21 years old. He was 6-14 and had a 5.61 ERA.
It got better after that.
Got better. He was 18-8 the next year.
Wilson swings and misses. We talked about Jack Wilson last night. Finally getting a chance to play on a team that looks like it's headed to the postseason. Braves can take care of business. He'll get there. But a long run in Pittsburgh with the Pirates. A couple seasons in Seattle. Did have a winning year in Seattle. The 1-2. And it's out.
They're talking about Javi with 10 or more wins, 12 straight years. Just looking quickly through Maddox's numbers, 13 or more wins, 20 consecutive years, and finished his career with 355 wins.
The count full to Wilson. Got him, struck him out, elevated the fastball. And Javi has the first 2 outs of this, the 5th inning.
Well, the strikeout totals continue to mount. 5 tonight. That's 2,526 for Javier Vasquez. He's a story, unfortunately, right now because of where the Marlins stand that's not being heard around baseball.
That is a good point. And he's also a mystery in a sense that he has said that he's leaning towards retirement as Costanza stands in. He's 0 for 1. Javi has said, he probably is going to retire after the season.
But that changeup.
Costanza's bat flies into the seats. Everybody's okay, and the youngster has a souvenir.
You get fooled that badly on a changeup. You get out in front, you let go, and the bat flies, and everybody's all right, and the youngster has a nice souvenir. He'll have to give it up, but he'll get it back.
Yep. You can't have the bat in the seats. Security folks, and this is across baseball at any stadium. When a bat goes into the stands, they will take the bat, but they will store it and give you. It's like the coat check at a nice hotel. They give you a little ticket, and on your way out, you go to the bat check and you get your bat.
Like we'll have the coat check girl at the Pfister when we check in.
Absolutely. Vasquez. Boy, he's making it look easy right now. A 35-year-old. He's right in his prime, folks. That Gabby Sanchez double has provided the only run of the ball game in Sun Life Stadium, high above the Goodyear blimp, looking down on us. Tommy Hutton, Frank Fort, Jeff Conine. Our Subway fifth inning, 1-0 Marlins. Let's check in with Frank Fort. Francis?
All right, thanks, guys. We had Dale Talon on in the third, joined now by the new head coach of the Panthers, Kevin Dineen. Got a couple of your boys here, and you much of a baseball guy? I know you coached the last 6 years in Portland, which used to be a Marlins affiliate, now Red Sox.
That's right. Well, I tell you, you lived 6 years in New England, and I think that Red Sox faithful really pull you in. But tonight's the first step in making sure we're a Marlin family moving forward.
And you just got to see a home run by Brett Hayes, Rich.
Oh, no, you take it, Frank.
All right, Brett, here you go, boys. You got a home run.
We just cracked it. That's great. What a nice night for us. Yeah, that's fabulous. New ballpark, and looking forward to be a part of the Marlin faithful moving forward. Go down and enjoy the new building, and what we're looking for this year is a little consistency. Marlins have had a good run at different times this year, and we just want to keep a steady run for the full year for us.
You spent almost 2 decades as a player in the league, last 6 years coaching in the AHL, the top development league, and I know you feel you're fully prepared for this shot at the NHL. Having played in the league so long, how does that experience as a player translate over to being a coach?
Well, I think you get a lot of personal experiences where you get a chance to see so many different things in a game over a 19-year playing career. And I don't think the game's changed a lot. The players are bigger, stronger, but a lot of times I think they go through the same things emotionally. So a lot of ways I can relate to that.
And you can relate to the day-to-day struggles and you know, the grind of the schedule. You know, if you don't have that experience, that may be a little tougher.
Well, and there's some challenges down here. You know, let's face it, the travel that goes in for our hockey team is really going to be something that I'm going to keep an eye on. Really want to play an up-tempo, really high entertaining type of game, and to do that we need to be fresh and sharp and really get people believing that it's a fun night out to come and see a Panther game. So we'll be well aware of that.
Well, you had 57 guys in camp. You've started to pare that down, and you will continue to do that. And now with the depth that Dale's built in the organization with the last 3 drafts, some of those kids obviously aren't ready, but you still have some difficult decisions to make.
Always difficult. I think no matter what the sport, you see Hard Knocks on TV or you talk to any baseball manager, I think when it's time to tell a player he needs to go down to the minors and keep on improving on his game, those are hard conversations to have. But we do need to get down to our final numbers and start putting this team together and preparing for our opening game in October.
Having said all that, how impressed are you with the young prospects in the organization? Because a lot of the hockey news and so forth have rated them either the first or second best group in the NHL.
Well, you see different flashes here and there, and I tell you, I'm not big on comparables, but Jonathan Huberdeau scored a goal today that had a lot of us looking at each other going, wow, and that's really nice to see. That's a highly talented young man, and not only that, he's a real gentleman. He's going to be a great addition to our organization in the very near future.
Kevin, thanks for the time. Enjoy the rest of the night with the family and the rest of the Panther personnel.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate
and
it.
Guys, Kevin Dineen, of course, you're all familiar with Inside the Marlins. We do Inside the Panthers as well. If you want to find out more about Kevin and his career, our very first Inside the Panthers will be on Kevin Dineen. Look for it in mid-October, guys.
All right, Frank, thank you.
Got a feeling that the Panthers, just in listening to Kevin Dineen, you got a feeling they're going to be in shape this year.
Yes. How about Brett Hayes with a leadoff homer here against Derek Lowe? Marlins getting a home run out of Hayes, his 5th of the season, and they stretch the lead to 2-0. Emilio Bonifacio, now Omar Infante to follow.
Brett Hayes is homered in his last 2 starts.
Look at the 2 Notre Dame high school alums.
Big sluggers comparing distance.
Yep. Hayes said, you know, mine was...
Like Stanton saying, I think yours just was one of those fence scrapers. Stanton's are seat scrapers.
Bonifacio rolls it foul, and it's 2-2. I think Hayes has proved something this year as well, that he can serve as a very capable backup catcher in the big leagues.
We've gone the last couple of weeks talking about players, young players, improving, maybe some that haven't, and certainly we've seen improvement in Brett Hayes.
It's a great scene there.
Yeah.
The guy who's taking the night off, John Buck, coming over to congratulate the guy who's playing for him. Bonifacio sweeps one into right center field. Let's see him stretch it. Hayward does a nice job to cut it off, but Bonifacio is already at second base. Hayward is a very good right fielder, and he's shown it in this series, Tommy. He's made plays all over the place in right field.
If he doesn't cut that ball off, it's a sure triple, and maybe we're watching Bonifacio try for an inside-the-park home run. But Hayward got over there quickly. He has good instincts, long strides. It gets him to that ball in a hurry, because there's a big gap out there. Good job by Hayward.
So it's a double. And now Infante was 0 for 2. They are underway in St. Louis. The Mets did not score at the top of the first. Certainly the Cardinals have an eyeball on this score and see that the Braves are down 2-0.
Cardinals right now are big Brett Hayes fans.
That's right. They want Dale Talon to come back.
And again, it goes back to Jack's decision to catch Hayes tonight. He has the confidence in him in his game calling, too. And look how Javier Vasquez has pitched this year.
Marlins looking for win number 71 on the season. After tonight, just 6 games left in the season. 3 in Milwaukee and 3 back home against the Nationals. So we are doing a game from the stands. I got the memo the other day. Next Tuesday we'll be down in the seats.
That's usually a night, Rich, that we can wear our shorts too, our golf shorts, tennis shorts.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a necessity. We'll be wearing shorts. We'll be wearing our best Tommy Bahama stuff.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully it'll rain, because you want the true Sun Life Stadium experience, Tommy.
Oh,
you want to be just like the faithful, the ones that have come out here and had to endure.
But we can't bring umbrellas.
Big jump by Bonifacio. McCann's thrown out in time. And Emilio swipes third base. Jack McKeon said a couple days ago that he envisions Bonifacio someday stealing 60 bases in a season.
I got a great jump there. Most of the time, when a runner steals third, he steals it off the pitcher. And Bonifacio clearly did there. He may have distracted Infante a little bit. Infante chasing a pitch out of the zone for strike 3. But he's at third base.
So 39 stolen bases. He had 5 stolen bases going into late June when Jack had that heart-to-heart, come-to-Jesus talk in Oakland
and
about
he wasn't
stealing
even
bases.
playing every day.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't even playing every day.
And Jack told him, look, when I tell you to run, that means run. That's not wait for a good pitch. That's not mean run if you get a good jump. And if you get thrown out, it's on me. And a light went off in Bonifacio's head. Just that burden of decision-making lifted from him. And he's been brilliant as a base stealer since.
And also, Rich, a guy stealing it off of a guy. Derek Lowe's allowed 25 stolen bases this year. That's 4th most in the league. So you get a little feel for the scouting report. You get on base. You know you can get a good jump.
Dobbs lifts one to left. Constanza goes back at the wall. He makes the catch. Marlins settle for a Brett Hayes solo homer and have a 2-0 lead.
ASAP y es presentado por KFC.
Cookie and Raul join us right now. 2-0. Marlins on top of the Braves. Cookie, can you talk Javier Vasquez out of retirement?
Do you know that Raul and I, we were talking about that, and I said, my God, I said, we'll take the kids to Disney World. We'll take him to anywhere, Key West, we'll take him to anywhere they want to go. But, my God, I wish he would change his mind the way that this man is pitching.
Have you ever seen a turnaround as amazing as his compared to the way he pitched his first 14 starts with an ERA almost 7?
Tell me what I said to Raul. I said, could you figure it out the way he was pitching at the beginning of the season, that he will be the winning guest pitcher of the Marlins this year with 11 wins and maybe 12 wins tonight? It's amazing.
It goes, and Rich and I have talked about it a lot. You get to see it firsthand as we do. The amount of effort and preparation and time that Javier Vasquez puts into his craft.
More specifically, Tommy, Rich, what do you think he did this year specifically to make that turnaround? Was it something mechanic? Was it just conditioning?
It was at a point where his ERA was the highest in all of baseball, and the Marlins actually took him out of the rotation for a turn, and Randy St. Clair and Vasquez had a couple of bullpen sessions, and they broke it down, and what they worked on was the lower half, was getting his legs involved in the delivery. St. Clair felt that Vasquez was too much upper body and that he'd lost his velocity because he wasn't pushing off, he wasn't using lower body, and whatever they worked on and whatever they changed, it certainly changed him. That's a deep drive to right. Stanton back at the track, makes the catch. And there are 2 outs. For everybody out there in Español y Inglés.
Hablando muy bien.
JM Lexus, leaders of the game. Look at that, the month of September.
Right there with the guys who are up for the Cy Young Award, Clayton Kershaw and Cliff Lee.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The one thing about him, Tommy and Richie, that is really outstanding too, is that he has the 4 pitches. The fastball, who has gone up to 92 at 93 miles an hour. He's got the curveball that he's using 2-speed with. He's got the slider and a tremendous changeup.
Yeah.
And he has control all over them, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's been quite a year. And, you never know, guys. I mean, he may get a month after the season, once he's away from the game, and think to himself,
I'll tell you what
he's done
do.
the last 3 months.
Keep talking to him, guys. Keep talking to him.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a letter to Santa Claus and wish for him the best so he can stay here.
All right.
Good stuff.
All right, Cookie.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
You too.
You too, guys.
He's been splendid tonight. The one hit is by the man at the plate, Martin Prado, who takes a fastball for a strike. He lined a single into right, and that was in the 4th inning. The storyline again here, the Braves lead in the wild card is 2.5 games. They trail 2-0, and the team chasing them is ahead 2-0. The Cardinals have scored first against the Mets. That game is in the 2nd inning. That one tapped foul at the plate.
Speaking of Septembers, coming into the game tonight, Albert Pujols hitting .423 in the month of September.
Pujols has doubled tonight. David Freese with a 2-run triple in that 1st inning. Didn't miss by much. Paul Nart has called a good game. This is a good crew.
I think Eddie Rapp keeps them on their toes.
There you go. 2-2 coming. Ground ball. Gabby bobbles and gets to the bag. And Javi Vasquez splendid again tonight after a shutout in Washington. 6 shutout innings here in Miami. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. There they are. They've been with us throughout the season and tonight, and I expect on the 4th, that's a very cool looking flag up there in the night, on the 4th of April when the Marlins open the new ballpark, the blimp will be high above as well. Stanton going after a changeup from Derek Lowe. Now, Derek Lowe hasn't pitched badly. He's given up 2 runs on 5 hits. But Javi Vasquez so far has shut down the Braves on just 1 hit.
The Marlins trying to even the series against the Braves all time in this ballpark. Atlanta's 75 and 74 against the Marlins in this ballpark.
That would be amazing. They would walk out of here tonight if the Marlins win, and the two teams, after all those games, dead even.
Of course, Jack McKeon, the Marlins all-time winningest manager.
Stanton drives that one to the gap, left center field. Over Ford is Bourne. Mike around first. He's going to try for second, and he's going to get there. 2 hits for Mike Stanton. Leadoff double here. And our Gunther Volkswagen drive of the game, double number 28.
With the exception of last night, Mike Stanton's put on a pretty good show for the Atlanta Braves. The 2 bombs the other night, the home runs, 2 base hits tonight. This one's sharply hit. Our Gunther drive of the game. Bourne cuts it off, but Stanton able to pick up double number 28 on the year.
Now Morrison. Now here's a spot where Morrison's looking for a pitch he can pull. Has not had a great year against the Braves average-wise, but he has hit 3 home runs against them, including a long one, over 430 feet worth of one, in game 1 of the series.
It is kind of interesting when you look, and you were pointing out some of the Braves numbers against the Marlins this year. Some guys who've hit the Marlins well. In contrast to that, a number of Marlins hitters have not hit the Braves very well. Momo being one of them.
That's a balk. It almost looked like Morrison was in the process of stepping out, though time wasn't called, and Lowe reacted to it.
Every once in a while, a hitter, whether it be intentional or not, will do that, but time has to be called. So the pitcher,
he just moved.
Yeah, he just moved. That didn't happen.
I don't know what he was doing.
Not too often do you see a veteran pitcher make that mistake.
Maybe he was starting a pickoff move.
It looked like he was going to throw to first base. He forgot where Stanton was.
That would have been a balk as well. Now Morrison is in RBI mode. The infield's in.
I'll tell you one thing, he picked off Freddie Freeman.
Yes, he did. He would have, had he done that, he would have thrown it right at Perry Hill. Now Lomo looking for a ball he could drive. With a count 2-2 and Stanton at third base. Marlins up 2-0. Morrison singled back in the 4th, bounced to first in the 2nd. Gabby Sanchez an RBI double in the 2nd inning, and a Brett Hayes home run, a solo shot to lead off the 5th. That's how the Marlins have a 2-0 lead. A great chance to add to it here.
You know, so many things on Derek Lowe's resume. A no-hitter as well back in 2002.
Morrison a chopper to first, and it's a fair ball, and Stanton holding at third.
And that is an area of improvement for Logan Morrison in 2012.
Coors Light freeze can time. How about Brett Hayes? Look at the eyes right on the ball, the extension. And I know it was a fence scraper, but what the heck? It's our frost brewed Coors Light freeze can. They all count.
They all count. Brett Hayes will take it.
Now Gabby trying to drive in this run. Jack Wilson has backed up at short, and I think for a couple reasons. Number one, Wilson got a great range. He did win one of those Fielding Bible Awards. And number two, the infield is razor quick right now. I mean, it's backing up. But the ball that Stan hit was kissed, the one that got by Wilson in the second inning. As you pointed out, on this infield, if you hit it hard, there's a good chance it's going to scoop by.
You can almost play halfway on this infield, and it's like playing in.
Two and one. Brian Peterson. Low right now at 97 pitches. And Gabby takes the walk. Of course, Low, a guy that gets a lot of ground balls, is banking on another one here. Roger McDowell hops out of the Braves dugout.
We're talking about Brett Hayes. Brett Hayes came into this season with 3 career home runs. And he's hit 5 this year, getting an opportunity, making his 31st start of the year. A lot of off-speed stuff this inning by Lowe. He's gone away from that boring sinker. I mean boring with the way it moves.
I knew what you meant. But the clarification was nice. Well, Peterson has flied to center and he has bounced to second. Lowe is looking for the bouncer to second, and Peterson is looking for the fly ball to deep center. With one out, runners at the corners. Drives that ball to right field. Over for it is Hayward, coming in, makes the catch. Here comes Stanton. Here comes the throw. It's cut.
Well,
Stanton scored. I'm surprised that it was cut.
Really surprised because, first of all, because it was cuttable, the runner at first base, Gabby Sanchez, couldn't go anywhere. And Freeman has that right in front of him. He knows the swiftness. I don't know if they would have gotten him. I still don't think they would have gotten him. Gabby holds up. Gabby stops. Freeman sees that and really doesn't give it a chance. I don't think they would have had him, but you need to give it a chance if you're a first baseman.
Braves are going to appeal that Stanton left early. Marlins now have a 3-0 lead. I think you're right. After we watch both replays, it looks like Stanton would have been in there easily.
But a good job by Brian Peterson to get that fly ball deep enough to get Stanton home.
Hayes swings and misses. So Peterson a sacrifice fly. Gabby still at first. And here is Hayes, intentionally walked in the second, homered in the fifth. Boy, this is really odd. The Marlins playing the Braves, and of course the Braves 2.5 up over the Cardinals in the wild card. And when it was 2-0 Marlins, when the Marlins jumped out 2-0, the Cardinals scored 2 runs. And just as the Marlins scored their 3rd run, the Cardinals have scored their 3rd run. And so St. Louis has a 3-0 lead over the Mets.
Now you're starting to freak me out, Rich.
Alan Craig driving in a run for the Cardinals.
He's getting a little playing time with Holiday out.
That's one of the amazing things about the Cardinals' run right now is that they're doing it without one of the premier run-producing bats in the National League, and that's Matt Holiday. 1-2, 2 outs. You do have Javi Vasquez on deck. Lowe's going after Hayes.
Lowe was probably happy to go against the Marlins lineup tonight, knowing that he wouldn't have to face Hanley Ramirez. Hanley Ramirez against Derek Lowe is 14 for 26, a .538 average, and a home run to boot.
Like a breaking ball, and it gets him. So Lowe strikes out Hayes to end the inning. Stanton double opened the inning. Brian Peterson knocked him home and stretches the lead to 3-0. It's the top of the 7th. Marlins beating the Braves. The Braves a 2.5-game lead in the wild card. With 7 games left, including this one, our Chevy wild card standings. St. Louis has a 3-0 lead over New York, but that game's only in the 3rd inning in St. Louis. Jaime Garcia is on the mound for the Cardinals. That changes that would flip a lot of the postseason matchups. People already looking ahead at series and
trying to figure out who's going to play who.
If the Cardinals were to win the wild card, then all of a sudden, everyone's determining the playoff matches, assuming that the Braves are going to win the wild card, and obviously the Phillies would have the best record in the league. They couldn't play the Braves because the division leader can't play the wild card winner if the wild card winner comes from the same division. But if it's the Cardinals, then it's Philadelphia and St. Louis, and that would pit probably Milwaukee and Arizona. Arizona's magic number is down to 2.
I like our producer John Sulcer's idea on that. If you win the division, you should be able to pick who you play. Forget about who wins the wild card, all that. If you win, okay, we'd rather play this team.
So if you win, if you have the best record.
You have the best record.
Okay. So you're a division winner and you have the best record in the league. You get to pick whom you want to play.
Yeah, we'll take Arizona. I don't know if the commissioner would go for that, but it's just a thought.
He called that pitch a ball, and as you can see on Fox Tracks, looked pretty good. That one is up. 3-1.
Right now, Javier Vasquez trying to regroup. He's upset at that call. You can see his reaction after the last pitch, but that was really a reaction from the pitch before.
Vasquez still visibly upset. McCann's down at first base. Full season ticket plans to the new Marlins ballpark available now. The Diamond Club is already sold out. Several other premium areas are close to capacity. So secure your seats today. Just call the new Marlins ballpark sales headquarters, 1-877-411-2012, or go to marlins.com/new ballpark. It's right around the bend, folks. Over 80% complete. April 4th against the Cardinals. Got the Red Sox coming to town. The Yankees will be there for
couple of
exhibition games.
Exhibition games, what, on the 1st and 2nd of April? I know our Fox Sports Florida folks are really looking forward to some of the shots and angles and pictures that we can bring you too.
Clay Hensley and Mike Dunn starting to loosen up. 0-2 on Ugla. Javi Vasquez pitch count is at 95. As he goes here in the top of the 7th, has nobody out with McCann at first base. And Ugla hacking up there, pulls it foul.
Entering this inning for Javier Vasquez, he has allowed 1 earned run in his last 28 innings. He's got a stretch right now of 24 consecutive scoreless innings.
Struck him out. Down goes Ugla. That's a nice bounce back for Vasquez. After not getting the call against McCann, to come back and get Ugla.
I think that's Uggs maybe thinking breaking ball and getting that good fastball to move back on the outside corner. Great pitch by Javier Vasquez.
And looking on Fox Tracks right there. It's a perfect pitch.
And that's how a veteran regroups after getting squeezed, having a pitch that was a strike, not called a strike.
Freeman fouls it off. Having watched Vasquez from afar with the Expos, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Braves in 09, you know, you always wonder what makes a guy like that tick, and how does he stay off the disabled list? How does he answer the bell 33 times a year, get over 200 innings a year? Having seen him now for 6 months, it's easy. He takes meticulous care of himself, both diet, exercise, preparation. There are a lot of pitchers on the Marlins staff, on staffs around baseball, who, if they took a good long look at Javi Vasquez and how he conducts himself, how he prepares himself, the type of shape that he's in, would do themselves a favor by following the program that he's on.
They would be better pitchers and better people for it.
Here's the 0-2.
There wasn't too many times that the Marlins would match up against the Expos and not see Tony Armas Jr. and Javier Vasquez in a series.
Counts 1-2 to Freddie Freeman. Freeman lofts that one to left and then snaps his bat. Morrison in to make the catch.
Boy, Freeman crushes his bat. He feels he had a pretty good pitch to hit, which he did. And there it goes.
Remember, he had a changeup last night out to dead center field.
I think the best ever, one of the first times it's been done since. It might have been done before, but one of the first times it got a lot of national attention was when Bo Jackson snapped the bat over his knee after making it out.
There were a lot of copycats after that. I mean, there were guys that saw that and probably never even considered doing that, and then went ahead and did it. There were I remember a few guys trying it and not being able to do it.
Good job there by Brett Hayes.
2 outs, top of the 7th. Javier Vasquez shutting out the Braves. Working on Jason Hayward here. 103 pitches deep is Vasquez. Marlins have a pair of arms ready if he falters here. Hayward fouls it back. One and two. Runs that one away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Missed with that pitch, but still pretty good velocity. 92, that last fastball.
Hayward hits that one to left center field and hits it deep. Morrison looks up. That ball is off the wall. Morrison has it. McCann trucking around third and stops. Wow, with 2 outs, you almost automatically think a runner's going to score on that, but Brian McCann apparently had the trailer hitched on.
He shed some pounds, but he's still a very below average runner. So he's trucking around, and third base coach Brian Snitker was not going to take a chance. The Marlins would have had a good chance of getting it.
And Lomo made a nice play to get it off the wall and get it to the cutoff man.
He was just rounding third when the ball got to Omar Infante, who eventually cut it off.
A double for Hayward, and now Vasquez trying to finish this inning as Jack Wilson. Wilson has popped out and struck out. Wilson, an all-star with the Pirates. I'm sure he watched with envy last year as his former Pirate teammate Freddie Sanchez played on a world champion. And you know he felt good for him as well, but you know, Wilson,
they teamed up in Pittsburgh for a few
They were there for a long time.
Javi's gotten him with 2 fastballs up, 2 strikes.
Oh, 2. Fastball up.
Went up a little higher.
Infante out. Stanton makes the catch, and Vasquez keeps the shutout. Gets through the 7th inning stretch in Miami. Marlins 3-0.
there it is, the drawing for our Ford Fantasy Auction, back from our Fantasy Auction way back early in the season. The drawing for the Ford Fiesta held this evening. There were only 300 tickets. And the bad news for the guys on our crew and Tommy Hutton and Rich, who bought tickets, Becky Warren, as you heard, won the Ford Fiesta. She gets to pick the Ford Fiesta of her color. She is the winner of the Ford Fantasy Auction, the drawing taking place after the bottom of the 6th inning just a few minutes ago. So that is your winner, Becky Warren. She gets the Fiesta, guys.
I'm crushed. Tommy, I can't believe it. We didn't win.
Yeah, but I'm happy for Becky.
I am too. Congratulations, Becky, a new Ford Fiesta. Thanks to Ford for donating that car. And I believe we will have the final totals for the fantasy auction here in a couple days, but I believe we're over $100,000 raised this year. So tip of the cap to everybody that contributed and bought a raffle ticket this year.
And by the way, tip of the cap and congratulations to Javier Vasquez, who's out of the game with John Baker pinch hitting. He has just established a Marlins record for consecutive scoreless innings by a starting pitcher. Pat Rapp was at 24 2/3, and that inning completed, Javi, 25 consecutive shutout innings.
Wow. That's great stuff. Bake swings and misses. Derek Lowe still in there. He's at 109 pitches. He's 3-2 on Baker. Top of the order after Bake. One of the signs last night at Star Wars night said, put in Darth Baker. Bake still has quite a following. Bake hits it hard. Ugla has it. Fires to first in time. So 1 out. Top of the order now, Emilio Bonifacio. Not too early to make your plans for the Marlins Golf Classic at the Jiffy Lube Mercedes-Benz of Fort Lauderdale Celebrity Golf Classic this year coming up. Actually, next year coming up at the Miccosukee Golf and Country Club, February 16th, 2012. Marlins players, coaches, other celebrities for an exciting day of golf. And it's all for the Marlins Community Foundation. 305-623-6497. Pitching change for the Braves.
When you need a car, truck, or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. In Miami tonight, the Braves and the Marlins for the last time at Sun Life Stadium, and the Marlins have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning. Emilio Bonifacio takes a fastball in from Scott Linebrink who takes over for Derek Lowe.
So Freddie Gonzalez making the move after Lowe retired the pinch hitter, John Baker, on a hard-won hopper to second. Linebrink was up and ready to go.
Linebrink, not part of the trilogy of relievers, but a guy that has appeared in 60 games. You got to have somebody to pitch when it's not O'Flaherty, Vendors, and Kimbrel. And Linebrink, Barbaro, Christian Martinez.
He did a great job last night, Barbaro and Martinez.
Two and one to Emilio Bonifacio. He doubled in the fifth. Bonifacio is going to have a dynamite closing week to get to 300. He's at 289 right now. Ugla backing up on it, makes the play, and throws him out. I think for Bonifacio, if you look at batting average, yeah, 300 would be a nice mark. But if he can finish with an on-base percentage of 360 or better, I think that's a better gauge of his progress.
You realize that coming into this game, his on-base percentage is better than Michael Bourne's. Coming into the game, Bonifacio's at 357, Bourne was at 351.
And that is, I mean, that's terrific because that's how Bourne has made himself a very effective offensive player.
And it's kind of a guy that we've made the comparison to. Bourne at one time when he was with the Phillies in his first year with the Astros was not a guy that had a good on-base percentage, but he improved.
He was a guy that the Phillies and then the Astros always said, you know, if he could just get on base a little more, he'd be really good. And that's what the Nationals, the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins have said about Bonifacio for a couple, 2-3 seasons. Fonte fouls it back. Well, the Cardinals did have a 3-0 lead, and that has just been erased. The Mets have dropped a 4 spot on St. Louis in the top of the third. Fonte fouls it off. 2-2. Edward Mujica in the pen. Two and two. Elevates the fastball, and down goes Infante. Linebrink finishes the 7th, on to the 8th. Marlins up 3-0. broadcast tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea, watching around the world, Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, Japan. Welcome, one and all. Take a good hard look at that site right there. That's the Goodyear blimp high above a giant football stadium, which has served as the baseball home for 19 seasons for the Florida Marlins. The Florida Marlins are about to become the Miami Marlins. After tonight, 3 more games left here before the Marlins become the Miami Marlins and move into a beautiful new downtown ballpark in Miami.
And then for all of our folks overseas, they can see a beautiful overhead shot of that new, beautiful baseball-only ballpark.
Edward Mujica is in for the Marlins. Mujica facing Eric Hinsky of the Braves.
Yeah, a couple of pinch hitters in line for Freddie Gonzalez. Hinsky here, he has Chipper Jones on deck.
Mujica taking over for Javi Vasquez, who was brilliant again tonight. And as Tommy pointed out, a Marlins record for consecutive scoreless innings by a starter. Vasquez, 7 innings, just 2 hits. And of course, no runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. One-two. Hinsky fouls it back. There's Chipper Jones. He had left the ball club to be with his family today in Atlanta and arrived back around, I guess it was about the 3rd inning. We saw him stroll through the dugout. Braves were happy to see him. They weren't sure if he was going to be back tonight or if he would join the team in Washington.
Well, that's good news for Chipper Jones and his family as well.
Because if he's back, everything is all right.
Yeah. By the way, the Marlins' consecutive scoreless inning streak by a relief pitcher, and it was over a span of May 9th through July 26th in 1994.
Oh, that's
yeah. It's Luis Aquino.
Wow.
And it's 26 1/3. So Javier Vasquez just an inning and a third away from that.
And he will get one more start this
Yes,
year.
he's going to. Well, he told me the other day he thought Tuesday, the day we'll be in the stands, would be his last start.
Got him. Mujica, changeup. So Hinsky goes down, and here is Chipper.
Eric Hinsky was just introduced to the Edward Mujica splitter.
Toyota trend tonight. Chipper against the Fish. When he doesn't get a hit, the Braves are 7 under. When he gets a hit, look out. Chipper very blunt about this facility when asked by Frank Fort on Marlins Live. He said, hey, look, I'm not going to miss this place. It's a football stadium. Unlike one of the ballparks that he used to frequent, Shea Stadium was one of his favorites.
And they loved him there.
So much so that he named one of his children Shea.
But even at Citi Field, it might not have the same effect. But even at Citi Field, they chant Larry when Chipper Jones comes up to bat.
Mujica trying to catch the corner. Two and two. Rolls over on it, and Fonte goes and gets the hop and flips to first. So Mujica has the first 2 outs of the 8th. And here comes Michael Bourne. 1 to Bourne, who was 0 for 3 tonight. Mets continue to lead that ball game against the Cardinals 4-3. The game has moved into the 4th inning.
Just having some fun, Rich, looking at Chipper Jones before his ground ball out. His career numbers in this football stadium: 120 games, a .295 average, and 16 home runs.
There's the splitter. And a 1-2-3-8 for Edward Mojica. Keep the line moving.
Being a deal. A line drive out into left field, breaking in. Conine can't get to it. Up with it, the runner's way. Here's the throw to the plate. Pudge is waiting. He tags and gets knocked over. Holds on, and the Marlins win the game. What a play to end it. A bruising collision at home plate to end this as Jeff Conine throws out J.T. Snow at home plate. And it's the Marlins who have beaten the Giants 7-6, and they're headed to the National League Championship Series.
3 more left. We continue to count down our favorite moments here at Sun Life Stadium for the Marlins. Chipper Jones is at third base now, and he chases Martin Prado out to left field. By the way, we will have a special bonus moment on Marlins Live. Anthony Varvaro comes in. So it didn't make our top 10.
Well, the bonus moment could be Niner taking you through that play foot by foot, second by second.
We might do that, but we happened to run into Dan Uggla before the ball game and asked him what his favorite memory was in this ballpark. And Uggs told us, and it was such a good memory that we will have it on Marlins Live. And truth be told, when we were asked ourselves, along the crack staff, when we were asked to submit our top moments, the moment that Uggla mentioned was on my list. So I'm going to stick around and watch.
I think it happened against a former Marlin.
And you played a starring role in it.
I did?
Yeah. Stick around. Dobbs against Barbaro. And Greg fouls it off. Dobbs tonight is 0 for 3.
couple of balls squarely, but just a little bit underneath. Sent the left fielder at the time, Constanza, to the warning track with a long fly ball.
Braves got 6 1/3 out of Derek Lowe. Marlins got all 3 of their runs against Lowe. He walked 2, he struck out 3. Scott Linebrink finished the 7th. And now here's Varvaro for the 2nd straight night. That one's on the ground out to short. Jack Wilson. One out. Here comes Mike Stanton.
I think Mike Stanton, not only in this series, but during the course of the year, has made believers of the Atlanta Braves.
Breaking ball from Varvaro for a strike. I think Stanton's made believers out of a lot of folks this year.
Yeah, he has.
Leo Nunez in the pen. One ball, one strike. Stanton and the Marlins take their act to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Mike could hit one off Bernie's slide at Miller Park.
He could hit Bernie.
He could hit Bernie.
And this is the, you know, in the old ballpark, old County Stadium, it was actually a wooden stein of beer that Bernie would slide into. Now he's got that new wave, almost water park type slide. That the ball Stanton hit out of here in Game 1, that would have been up right around Bernie's territory. Here tonight, the Marlins riding an incredible wave of Javi Vasquez. If you ask people around baseball who are the most dominant pitchers in the last 2 months, you know, they would throw out Clayton Kershaw's name. But I don't think a lot of people would say Javi Vasquez, but he's right in there in that company.
I guarantee if you threw that question out there, his name wouldn't come up in the conversation. And that's what I meant when I said he for what he's done the last couple of months, he just hasn't gotten much attention, and it's because the Marlins have been out of it, and also because he got off to such a horrible start.
Breaking ball misses away to Stanton.
We showed you some numbers, and he was there and ahead of guys that are going to be certainly voted on for Cy Young Award. Clayton Kershaw, Cliff Lee.
Three-two fastball, threw it by him. So Varvaro humps it up. Stanton goes down, and here comes Morrison.
That's one of those you file away somewhere down the line. Next year, Stanton will face up against Varvaro, and Varvaro will say, I threw a fastball by him and got him, and he'll try it again, and Stanton will hit it about 450 feet.
Breaking ball and a strike. Morrison had a single to right. He's bounced to first twice. In the 6th inning, he had a runner at third and nobody out. And with the infield drawn in, his tapper up the line didn't get the run home. Lomo not only had the mohawk, but he also had the eyebrows, the racing stripes etched into the eyebrows. Drives that ball right center, hits it deep. That ball's gone! Number 22. And he smoked it. And a Coast Guard salute.
Well, Varvaro threw the fastball by Stanton. He tried to flip up the breaking pitch to Logan Morrison. He was ready for it, and he drove this one a long way. So a couple of long home runs for Logan Morrison in this series. 22nd home run, 71 RBIs.
Barbaro misses low, and it's 1-0 to Gabby Sanchez. So another run tacked on and a 4-0 lead here in the 8th for the Fish. Gabby swings and fouls it. So Morrison now with 71 runs driven in, 22 homers. And a new haircut.
Well, as superstitious as players are, they say, well, new haircut. Marlins are winning. And a 2-for-4 night for Logan.
Well, I don't know, Tommy, though. That's a steep price to pay.
Yeah, it is.
That haircut.
We can only say, Mom, we're sorry for showing this way too much.
He either, I mean, it's almost like he either lost a bet or was joining an 80s punk rock band. But that young man can play and he can hit. And to see the power come around this year is a great sign. They always talk about guys that, oh yeah, the power is the last to come, that sometimes it doesn't come 3 or 4 years into their big league career. You pointed out, Tommy, he wasn't a guy who hit a lot of homers in the minor leagues either. Gabby jumps on one, drives it to left, and it's off the top of the wall. Gabby hoofing it, and he is out. Ugla puts the tag down, and Gabby out at second base, inning over. Marlins settle for another homer. Logan Morrison, second of the series, 22nd on the year. Leo Nunez on the mound.
I think we've seen over the last number of outings from Leo Nunez, be they in a case like this, which is not a save situation, or the last couple of times he's come in to save a game, we've seen a better Leo Nunez.
Prado had one of the 2 hits that Vasquez gave up, a single in the 4th inning. Jason Hayward doubled in the 7th inning. Leo's 1-1. Fly ball right field. Stanton goes back. Almost stumbled there, kind of caught a cleat, but kept his balance and makes the catch.
He was in that goalpost territory.
He used to run the post in high school.
Yeah.
They used to, remember the highlights that we saw of him as a high school wide receiver? They'd throw it up in the end zone, let the big guy go up and get it.
Boy, how about the last 2 starts? Cishek loosening up. The last 2 starts for Javi Vasquez, 16 innings, 7 hits, no runs. And you can take that back even further.
If you want to go back further, the last 5 starts that Vasquez has had, he's given up a grand total of 1 run. That was against the Mets. It's amazing. 36 innings, a run, 4 walks, 33 strikeouts, Tom.
Incredible.
And if he does retire, if he says that's it, he'll be walking away on his terms. I think it was a few days ago we were talking about Mike Mussina, who walked away a 20-game winner. Nunez misses, and McCann trots down to first. Leo walks Braves catcher.
Yeah, the other thing about Mike Mussina, he walked away a 20-game winner, and he walked away with 270 career wins.
Here is Ugla now. Hayes coming down to try to settle Nunez down. Now, we've talked about adrenaline and how it can work to benefit a closer. Sometimes adrenaline can work against a guy like Leo Nunez, where he gets a little too excitable. And
yeah, I think in his case, it's finding that fine line. To be pumped up, to have that adrenaline nature when you're going to close a game, but not go over the top with it. I swear, when Mariano Rivera loosens up in the bullpen to come in a game, his blood pressure probably goes down.
Sure seems like it. Ugla fouls it off. Trevor Hoffman that way too. The guy that Mariano just passed.
But his went up when he came through the door at the tune of Hell's Bells.
The opponent's blood pressure went up. You've seen just about every reliever the Marlins have get up. The Marlins have an off day tomorrow. I'm sure a lot of them are getting up just to get some work in right now. Jack McKeon hopeful that Nunez can shut the door here in the ninth. Ugla goes after a high fastball. Dominguez drifting over. And it's out of his reach. So it's 1-2. Well, there's plenty of relievers that worked on pure adrenaline. I mean, you think about Mitch Williams. 1-2. Ugla off the end of the bat, and it kind of bloops out into shallow left. Morrison charges on, makes the catch, and a running throw to first. Almost doubled off McCann. Nice play by Morrison.
Yeah, great anticipation, because as he's coming in to get to this ball, he's able to, out of some part of his eye, see the runner at first base. Ryan McCann get off the bag a little bit. So as he's making the catch, he's going, I got a shot to make a throw to first base. First things first, make the catch, and then give it a shot.
Now Freeman, 0 for 3. Braves magic number coming in at 6. After tonight, 6 games left. Marlins going to give McCann second. And it counts 0-2. Cardinals still trail the Mets 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Marlins fans trying to get Nunez through it. 0-2 coming. Been a tough stretch for the Braves. They were swept by the Cardinals a week and a half ago. They lost 2 of 3 to the Mets this past weekend. If Nunez can get this last out, they will have lost 2 of 3 to the Marlins.
And the Marlins will be able to even the series against the Atlanta Braves in this ballpark at 75-75.
It's amazing. The last game that the Marlins or Braves will have played in this stadium. And sometimes it does slip out when you call it a ballpark. It's not a ballpark. It's a giant football stadium. It would be all even, 75-75. Nunez ready, 2-2 coming to Freeman. Change up missed away. Hayward on deck. Hands at second. Walked him. So a pair of walks here in the ninth. The last thing you want to do is get the tying run to the plate. So you got to go right after Jason Hayward here.
I think what you've seen the last few pitches, especially pitching to Freeman, you saw more of the Leo Nunez, the thrower, compared to Leo Nunez, the pitcher, that we've seen the last few times.
Well, Jack has his choice of guys down there. They're all loose. Hensley's ready to go. Dunn's ready to go. Randy St. Clair's on his way out to the mound.
I think it's so clear when you watch pitching, as we've watched Javier Vasquez over the last few months, and you see the command that he has. He doesn't throw as hard as Leo Nunez. Might not have as good a changeup, but he has command with everything, as Cookie was talking about. We were talking to Cookie and Raul. Command of the curveball, command of the slider, command of the fastball, command of the changeup. That's what gets hitters out at this level.
So a couple Braves aboard. You saw Freeman at first. That's McCann at second. Now Hayward. Fastball popped. Out of play.
Hayward lately has gotten on a little roll. 4-game hitting streak. 6 for his last 13. They got to be careful.
Fastball, ground ball. Infante gobbles another ball game. Marlins win it. Javi Vasquez stays on a terrific roll. Leo Nunez shuts the door. Brett Hayes, Logan Morrison go deep. And the Marlins take 2 of 3. from the Atlanta Braves, putting a dent in the Braves' wild card plans. Some final thoughts on this one. 4-0. Pitch.